A little bit about my background. I spent my entire career in the intelligence community, working for the Department of Defense and other agencies. My background has been typically counterterrorism and counterespionage in the specific field of counterintelligence. Basically, what that means is that I spent a career trying to figure out what the enemy knows about us. Long story short, in 2008, I was asked to be part of a very small, nuanced program. At the time, I had no idea what it was. Later on, I think it became rather famous as the ATIP program, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. And it was a program that was studying and looking at UFOs. I know it's a bit of a hard pill for people to swallow, but the reality is that your government, our government, spent quite a bit of taxpayer money trying to figure these things out. We had data, very compelling data, that there were things that were in our controlled U.S. airspace, both abroad and here domestically, that were displaying performance characteristics, we'll just say, that are well beyond our current understanding or our current paradigm, if you will, of existing aircraft. That's a little bit about my background. In 2017, I left the department because of the over secrecy on this topic and the stigma that was not allowing my office to report this information that we were receiving up to the appropriate channels within the Pentagon. As far as the observables, I'd love to take credit for it, but I can't. While I was in the ATIP program, there was a lot of effort to try to look at this problem from an intelligence perspective. And as a result, the office collectively, with the help of scientists and some mathematicians and some other folks in other agencies, recognized that there were 5 distinct observables that were typically associated with these anomalous vehicles. These vehicles that had the ability to perform in ways that, frankly, uncharacteristically, were well above and beyond any capabilities we had. And so the 5 observables may now, looking back hindsight, seem like common sense. But they really, up until that point, had never really been, if you will, categorized this way. And the 5 observables, the first one is instantaneous acceleration, the ability for an object to go from point A to point B and possibly point C in a very, very, very rapid manner, well beyond the healthy limitations of anything biologically to withstand, and certainly beyond the material science capabilities that we had at the time and have currently. Mm-hmm. The next observable is hypersonic velocity. Hypersonic velocities are those speeds that are described by definition as Mach 5 or above. To put that into context, the SR-71, which is still one of the fastest aircraft on the planet, can do about 3,200 miles an hour, and still not really considered truly hypersonic velocity by definition. There's brief moments where we have certain, like, for example, the space shuttle can do it, but there's very few vehicles we have, military vehicles or civilian, that can fly that fast. The third
I was blown away before you go there. Wait, really quick. Yeah. I want to just go there real quick because I was blown away by the fact that, at these hypersonic speeds, when you talk about it, we just think of like a craft, or we think of like a plane, or we think of like some type of vehicle that can move really fast, but we don't realize like the human body cannot withstand those kind of G-forces, right? I mean, it's just like, correct. Even if something is moving that fast, if someone's controlling it, who's controlling it? Because we can't handle that kind of G-force.
Yeah, let me put that exactly. Great point, Sarah. So the SR-71, otherwise known as the Blackbird in the vernacular, was an aircraft that we used to spy on Russia. And this was an aircraft that at 3,200 miles an hour, if you wanted to make a right-hand turn or do a U-turn, it would take you almost the state of Ohio to accomplish that. So certainly if you wouldn't expect a vehicle that's traveling that fast to be able to do a 90-degree turn instantly. Obviously, it would liquefy anybody or anything inside of it because of those G-forces. We're talking G-forces in some cases well north of 700, 800, 900 G-forces, whereas the human being can withstand about 9 G-forces for a very short period of time. So you're absolutely correct. And so that's why those 2 observables are fundamentally so important.